Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 Shruti Sharma.
Hello and welcome to ForumIAS. Today is 15th May 2023 and these are all the articles we are going to discuss today. All these articles are discussed from prelims point of view because our exam is nearing. It is just 15 days away. I hope you are all preparing very well. Let's go to the first article. The first article talks about bail orders. It says that bail orders should not be too long or come too late as both violate personal liberty, and this is observed by the Supreme Court. So what they are saying is that the orders of courts in bail cases should neither be too long and elaborate nor come too late as both violate the constitutional mandate of personal liberty. And this personal liberty arises from which article? Article 21. It talks about right to life and personal liberty. So the court is saying that if a bail order is too lengthy, then it actually curtails this right of personal liberty. Long debates at the stage of bail may prejudice the case itself for the accused. So basically, there is a provision for default bail. Okay, default bail. So, for any accused, when they are going through trial, they have the right to default bail. But the problem is that when this bail is taken up in the court, if the court is going to discuss the nitty-gritties of this particular case, then it kind of defeats the purpose of bail, right? So, the bail is just to give a temporary relief. Instead, if we are discussing the case law, what happens? It amounts to discussing the merits of the case. That you do when you want to give the final verdict. Instead, at the bail stage itself, if this is done by the court, it wastes a lot of time for the court as well as the accused. And in turn, it has bearing on this personal liberty. Because their right to default bail is getting delayed and delayed because of this lengthy consideration. Every day of waiting is a dent on the personal liberty of an under trial. We'll see more about this default bail in the next slide. Let us first see what is mentioned in this article. So the court is saying that the practice of detailed elaboration of evidence in the orders granting or rejecting bail or anticipatory bail and the practice of long delay between reserving the matter for order and pronouncing the order. This is considered as a bad practice. Supreme Court has wrapped the lower courts on this issue. You need not go through the nitty-gritties and details of the case while granting bail. That is what the Supreme Court has said. Now let us see the provisions. So basically, the right of default bail under section 167 clause 2 of the Criminal Procedure Code is not merely a statutory right but a fundamental right that flows from Article 21. We saw this, right? So the right to personal liberty, this bail covers that article. So it is not just a statutory right, it is a constitutional right. Moreover, it is a fundamental right. Why? Because this is done to protect the accused from the unfettered and arbitrary power of the state. So what happens? Normally, against the cases in which the court bail is required, those cases are versus the state, right? Mostly for the cases for which you need to approach the court for bail, they are heinous crimes. And these heinous crimes, they are committed against the state. Heinous crimes are very bigger crimes. to say it in layman words or to put it in a legal definition, the crimes which have punishment greater than 7 years. That is heinous crimes like murder. These are all heinous crimes, and these heinous crimes, no matter who the victim is, they are considered to be versus the state. So what happens is, generally if the government wants to punish political opponents or any other case which may be, they use this, right? So this is done to protect the accused persons from unfettered and arbitrary power of the state. What does this mean? It means that in case the state files a complaint, that is the police file a complaint, they register a complaint of heinous crime, it is committed against the state. So the police can take complaint, and this may or may not be based on material facts. It can be a move to even punish the particular person by the severity of the process, right? So basically this right to default bail is to protect the accused from the unfettered and arbitrary power of the state. If this is not there, then the state can imprison anybody and they can languish in jail forever till the case is completed, right? So there is default bail condition. Section 167 clause 2 of CRPC, an accused is entitled to default bail if the investigation agency failed to file a final charge sheet within 60 days from the date of remand. For some offences, even 90 days can be given for the police to investigate and file the charge sheet. So there was this judgment, Ritu Chabaria versus Union of India, in which the Supreme Court said that central agencies cannot deny accused persons their right to default bail by filing multiple supplementary charge sheets and seeking renewed custody. So basically, if there is one charge sheet, within filing of one charge sheet, there is 60 days gap, right? So if there are multiple charge sheets, again and again, the custody of this accused is obtained by the central agencies like CBI, ED, etc. So generally what is done is, they will file one charge sheet, and even if the person gets bail from that, again they will file a renewed charge sheet in which there will be several other crimes that will be mentioned. So again and again you are giving a renewed charge sheet, and this process gets repeating. This cannot be done. It is abusing the loophole of the law. That is what the court said in the Ritu Chabaria judgment. Okay. So for prelims purpose, what we need to remember is, one is default bail, right? And second is Article 21 aspect of the default bail. And what is the timing? 60 days and in some cases 90 days. Just remember that the accused is entitled to default bail if the investigation agency failed to file a final charge sheet within 60 days of the remand. So these are all the things you need to remember for prelims. Alright, let's move to the next article. This article is about millets. That there are a lot of things that are discussed. We will see what is important from the prelims point of view. That's it. Okay, so why this particular article has come? Because UN Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, they have declared this year, the current year 2023, as the International Year of Millets. Millets are generally sought after these days because of their low input requirements. They don't consume that much water. They don't require that much of fertilizers, synthetic inputs like rice and wheat. And these millets have high nutritional density. Now that India is battling food security, we have enough rice. But do we have nutrition security? In that case, this millets will come to help us in battling nutrition security or insecurity in India. So basically, millets are also grass. Like we know, rice and wheat are nothing but grass. Similarly, millets are also grass. And millets are cultivated worldwide. Contrary to popular opinion, even in the temperate countries, millets are cultivated, but mostly it is cultivated in the tropical parts of Africa and Asia. Say for example, we have pearl millet, barnyard millet, finger millet, foxtail millet, etc. And India is the world's largest producer of millet. One more thing our economic survey says is that India is the second largest exporter of millets also. So that is one extra information for you. You might get these things in the statement based questions. And within all these millet, pearl millet accounts for maximum millet production in India. So there was this question in 2020 UPSC Prelims about dal. So they said that arhar dal is the most consumed dal or most produced dal. Similarly, if they want to ask a question in the line for millets, remember that pearl millet is the most cultivated millet, most produced millet in India. Why? Because of the nutritional value compared to other existing food crops, they have similar or higher nutritional value, and their ability to withstand harsh resource poor conditions. So this is more suitable for dryland agriculture, especially unirrigated areas where they are rain fed agriculture. There this millet can be of good use if we cannot urgently provide irrigation services to those farmers, right? We already saw these 2 points here about the nutritional security and also the less input requirement. Again, this particular millets, they are all generally drought tolerant and they are very much adapted to warm weather, and they require low moisture, and they are well suitable for loamy soil, and they cannot grow well in waterlogged or extremely dry soil. So it doesn't mean that they don't require moisture at all. They require low moisture. Okay. So, and they require loamy soil. These points are all important for prelims. Okay. But we have this challenge. Generally, rice and wheat, we are all very adapted to rice and wheat, and we are used to the taste of rice and wheat. Common complaint with respect to these millets is that it is not as tasty. So in order to make it tasty, more palatable, these millets are processed. What is it doing to the nutrition content of millet? That we need to discuss. So the husk, the outer covering is removed because the husk is composed of cellulosic matter and the human body cannot digest it. That is why the husk is removed. But what happens is that there are studies which indicate when the husk is removed, the nutrients, especially phytic acid, polyphenol, the levels of these nutrients drop. But this processing makes the grain more edible. It makes the grain tasty. It makes it visually attractive. If we have to bring about a millet revolution, if we have to change the dietary pattern, then we have to make it more attractive, more palatable, especially when it comes to marketing in urban areas. So one thing is about the digestive capability, and second thing is about marketing. That way dehusking is okay. And then what is the effect of polishing? What is polishing? Say for example, we have brown rice. It is changed to white rice by rubbing of the bran and the germ. That is, germ is the germplasm of the grain. These are all rubbed off. Then it becomes white rice. But when we do polishing, 60 to 80% of iron, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, manganese, these micronutrients are all removed as a result of polishing. But most consumers favor the resulting taste, texture. They prefer shorter cooking time. When it is a polished and processed grain, it takes shorter cooking time and it has a longer shelf life. So these are all possible if we are removing the bran. So it is not entirely true that the removal of bran is only adding to woes. but it also has some practical consideration. That is why this is being done. But from exam point of view, this is more suitable for mains, but for prelims you have to remember what is it, what are all the major crops, where is it grown, and what is the feature, that is in terms of loamy soil, moisture content. These are all important for examination. All right. Next is about mitochondrial donation treatment, that is 3-parent baby. Okay, so we will see about it. So first of all, why does a baby need 3 parents? Especially this is something that is being dealt with respect to mitochondria. First we will understand what is mitochondria. Mitochondria are basically the powerhouses of cells. Why they are called as powerhouses? Because they generate energy. So when they generate this energy, that is being consumed by the respective cell. We know each cell has mitochondria. Mitochondria will generate energy and this will be used by the cell to function. So if there is any mitochondrial mutation, then it is called a mitochondrial disease. That is, when the mitochondria is not able to produce sufficient energy, it affects how the organ functions. So basically brain cell, heart cells, they require a lot of energy. If their mitochondria is not able to produce energy, how will these cells function? And if these cells are not able to function, in turn it will lead to failure of organs. That is brain damage, brain cells, because brain cells are energy guzzling cells. They require a lot of energy. If these cells are not able to generate enough energy, the cells will not be able to perform their function, and as a result organ failure, muscle wastage, all these things would happen as a result of mitochondrial diseases. So in order to prevent this mitochondrial mutation to being passed to the younger generation, this 3-parent baby technology is being used. What is the scientific process? So basically we have to understand that mitochondrial diseases are only passed on by the mother. So in this case, what did they do? They took the biological father's sperm, and this sperm was used to fertilize the egg of the biological mother, one, and also the mitochondrial. So why? Because this biological mother, she has mitochondrial disease and she did not want her child to get it. So they went for this technique. So firstly, the father's sperm is fertilized with the egg of the biological mother, and also this sperm is fertilized with the egg of the female donor. Okay, now what happens is that from the donor's egg is now fertilized with the biological father's sperm. So the donor is a female, obviously. So from her egg, from her fertilized egg, the genetic material is extracted and it is replaced with the genetic material from the biological parents. Okay, so what happens is, imagine this is the egg of the donor. Okay, so in nucleus of the cell there is no problem for the mother. So what happens? Mother's egg is also, this is the egg of the mother. Now both these eggs are fertilized. Now what happens is that once this fertilization is done, the donor's egg is removed. Okay, donor's egg's nucleus is removed and it is replaced with the nucleus of the mother's fertilized egg, because the mother doesn't have a problem in the nucleus of her cell. She has problem in the mitochondria, but the donor's mitochondria is well functioning. So this is what happens, right? In short, there are two fertilized eggs. One is of the donor, one is of the mother. Once this is done, the nucleus of the fertilized egg of the donor is removed. It is discarded and the nucleus of the fertilized egg of the mother is taken and it is placed here. and then this particular fertilized egg, right? So this is implanted in the uterus of the mother and she will carry it to full term and that will yield a baby. So thus this particular child will be free from mother's mitochondrial disease because it has the mitochondria from a donor, and this is called as mitochondrial donation treatment, MDT. Okay, so this is about this particular article. This is very important. Next article is about new appointment of CBI director. In this context, we just have to understand how is CBI director appointed for our prelims purpose. So first, CBI comes under Ministry of Personnel. It doesn't come under Ministry of Home Affairs, and it enjoys the status of an attached office of this Ministry of Personnel. And the CBI is not a statutory body. This is very, very important, and it derives its powers from the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act of 1946. So, how is the director of CBI appointed? Central government will appoint the director of CBI, and it is based on the recommendation of a 3-member committee consisting of Prime Minister as the chairperson, leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, and Chief Justice of India or Judge of the Supreme Court nominated by him. So, the central government nominates or appoints the director of CBI, and it is based on the recommendation from the 3-member committee. This 3-member committee consists of PM, we have the leader of opposition, and we have the Chief Justice. So this committee recommends the name of the director and he is appointed. If there is no recognized leader of opposition, then the leader of largest party, opposition party in the Lok Sabha would be the member. The largest party in Lok Sabha would be the ruling party, and the next largest party's leader would be taking the place of leader of opposition if they have not got enough seats to get the status of this leader of opposition. Okay, so how is leader of opposition selected and all? You read it from Lakshmikant. That is a discussion for another day. For this article, you have to understand how the CBI director is appointed and what if there is no leader of opposition and where does CBI derive its power from. This slide itself is very important. Okay, the last article is about heat wave in the Konkan region. So, what is a heat wave? So, what is a heat wave? Heat wave is a period of abnormally and uncomfortably hot and humid weather. Hot plus humid, that makes it more dangerous. According to WMO, that is the World Meteorological Organization, heat wave is when the daily maximum temperature for more than 5 consecutive days exceeds the average maximum temperature by 9 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is for 5 days and it should exceed the average maximum temperature. So every day we have min-max temperature. Every day you read the newspaper, in that it will have min-max temperature, right? Above and beyond this maximum temperature, if there is an average maximum temperature for that month. Above this, if it is going beyond 9 degree Fahrenheit, then it is considered as heat wave, and it should go beyond the maximum for 9 degree Fahrenheit for 5 days, and that too consecutive days. But for us, it is more important how it is defined in India. It is defined when maximum temperature of a station reaches at least 40 degrees Celsius or more for plains and at least 30 degrees Celsius or more for hilly regions. Then it is considered as a heat wave. So how do heat waves form? Heat wave is basically static high pressure that is generated in the upper atmosphere. So it becomes static over a region for several weeks, several days, up to several weeks also. So when there is static high pressure will generate a hot mass of air, and when we have studied, right, in high pressure there will be air subsidence, air will not rise. Okay, if air rises, it will form clouds and there will be rains. But in case of high pressure, it will not at all rise. There will be only subsidence of air. So there is no cloud formation, no rain to cool off such a high temperature. So the high pressure acts as a barrier and forces the mass of air to sink, which we saw here, to the surface of the land, that prevents heat to rise. So this keeps out the convection currents that form the clouds. So high pressure, it has more to do with the high pressure. Now we'll see this graphic. So it is saying that heat wave is when the temperature is more than 4.5 degrees Celsius to 6.4 degrees Celsius above the normal maximum, and if it goes beyond 6.4 degrees Celsius, so there is a maximum. Okay, so this is the maximum. There is a minimum temperature of the day. This is around 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 a.m. and maximum temperature will be around 3 p.m. So the maximum, beyond this maximum, if it goes from 4.5 degrees Celsius to 6.4 degrees Celsius, then this is heat wave. If it goes more than, so this maximum temperature than this average, if it goes more than this, then it is called as severe heat wave. Now with this diagram, I hope you understand. So heat wave, so the temperature is equal or greater than 45 degrees Celsius. Severe heat wave is equal or greater than 47 degrees Celsius. Warm night, that is, even minimum temperature is going on the higher side. Very warm night, the same thing is applying. If the minimum temperature is increasing 4.5 to 6.4, then it is a warm night. If this minimum temperature is increasing beyond 6.4, then it is a very warm night. So the same thing is for cold wave, but we will talk about the minimum temperature. If it goes lower than the minimum temperature, then it is cold wave. Okay, so I hope you got the clarity about this. Now we will discuss some PYQs. The money multiplier in an economy increases with which one of the following? A. Increase in the cash reserve ratio. B. Increase in the banking habit of the population. C. Increase in the statutory liquidity ratio. D. Increase in the population. So money multiplier is amount of currency that is in circulation, right? In simple terms, increase in cash reserve ratio means more money is retained with the banks. It is not given out as loans, right? 4%, more than 4% is retained as CRR. At present, the CRR is closer to 4.5%, I believe. So, if more CRR, more money is there with the bank and less money is there for lending. So, this is wrong. SLR is also similar. Again, if there is more SLR, more money is parked with the banks, less money is available for lending. So, this is also wrong. Population doesn't simply account for a higher money multiplier, but it will increase with the increase in the banking habit of the population. B is the correct answer, because more money is coming into the system. More money is coming into the system, more money is available at the disposal of banks, and more transfers, more lending, more transfers, inter-transfer within the banks, and thus the money multiplier increases. Next question. The services area approach was implemented under the purview of A. Integrated Rural Development Program, B. Lead Bank Scheme, C. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, D. National Skill Development Mission. Answer is lead bank scheme. So in this, what happens is one bank is there and they will get some area as their designated area. There they will increase the banking penetration, right? So the service area, they will service this particular area, and that is the service area approach. So this bank for this area is the lead bank, okay, and this area for this bank is the service area, okay. All right. So the next question is, with reference to the management of minor minerals in India, consider the following. Major minerals are coal, petroleum, etc. They are major minerals. Now the question is about minor minerals. Sand is a minor mineral according to the prevailing law in the country. Yes. State governments have the power to grant mining leases of minor minerals, but the powers regarding the formation of rules related to grant of minor minerals lie with the central government. 3. State governments have the power to frame the rules to prevent illegal mining of minor minerals. So this statement is correct. Yes, state governments will make the rules and regulations for minor minerals. So obviously central government has no role in making rules. So the entire statement is wrong and it is asking for correct. So answer is A, 1 and 3. So that's it for today's discussion. Follow us on all these social media platforms. This is Indumati signing off. Thank you. All the best.